Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock on the 26th of August and time for this council committee meeting. We begin this meeting with the call to the order. Call to order, Ms. Kittrell, please.
Vice Mayor Hayes.
Present.
Councilman Alexander.
Present.
Councilman Carter is absent. Councilman Fan.
Here.
Councilman Fennell.
Here.
Councilman Jones.
Here.
Councilman Juvance.
Present.
There we have a quorum.
Thank you. And you all, Councilman Carter did let me know that he is en route and should be here shortly. He is coming from Nashville, so he should be here. This evening, you have the minutes from the August 12th, 2025 council committee meeting for your consideration for approval.
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Fennell, a second by Councilman Jones. Are there any additions, subtractions, or corrections by anyone? Okay, all in favor of approving the August 12th, 2025 council committee meeting minutes, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Minutes are approved. We'll move now to public recognition. This is a work session or a council committee meeting. We'll only have one period of public comment. The rules remain the same. You'll have 5 minutes. We need your name and your address for the record. You'll come to the podium to speak, and I will set the timer, and you can speak to anything that is on the agenda or not on the agenda. With that, public recognition is now open.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Cam Patel. I live at 421 Woodlands Drive, Gallatin, Tennessee, last 22 years. I'm here for agenda, last agenda I said change the distance for liquor store. And I want to open the liquor store in our District 5. We don't have any liquor store. So if we open it, we're gonna have a lot of support from the good support for the economy and more jobs. And I searched about some of the surrounding town, they don't have no distance rules. Maybe the state of Tennessee, they got 1,500 feet from one store to other store, but we got 1 mile. So please, we are requesting to change to half a mile. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public recognition this evening?
John Alexander, 780 Anthony Street, Gallatin, Tennessee. I just stand in support of the liquor store for the 5th District. We used to have 2 some time ago. We had one on Bly Street and one on West Eastern, but we don't have one now. So I did talk to a lot of people in the community. I do have a list of names in support of that. I talked to some of the pastors in the area, Keith Stewart, St. Luke, different churches, and everybody seemed to be in support of that. So I would appreciate if this council would take it under consideration to change that distance so we could have a liquor store there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good to see you. Those who don't know, Councilman Alexander used to be a councilman sitting up here, right here. And he always has on sharp shoes. What did he say? Thank God I'm not anymore? Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Debbie Upchurch, 322 Tulip Circle, Gallatin. And I work for Cam, and I do support his decision to turn the store into a liquor store. I think a lot of customers are wanting it from what the ones I've talked to. More want it than don't want it. And I think he's going to make it successful if y'all approve the half-mile radius. Thank you.
Ma'am?
I'm Mary Harper. I live at 629 Jean Avenue in Gallatin. I've been knowing Kim for about 22 years. I've been to a couple of stores. I'm here to support him, and could y'all grant to let him have the liquor store? Thank you.
Thank you. These are the shortest public comments we have had in quite some time, and I don't think anybody's complaining. Oh, wait, I just,
You jinxed us.
yeah.
Good evening, council and city staff, mayor. I'm not here to speak on liquor stores or not. I'm here to speak on item number 4 about the moratorium on rezonings. I just want to remind the council and mayor that the city already has that authority. You have every opportunity to accept or deny or approve with conditions any zoning request that comes in your presence. So I don't think that it's necessary to cast a cloud upon property owners that may want to exercise their right to a petition for rezoning. And I would request that this council not adopt such a action. We don't know how long it will be until the zoning code is adopted. So just exercise caution, and I recommend that you do not take that action. And if you need assistance on anything, or you'd like an opinion from me on any of the zonings that come before you, I'd be glad to render those. So hope you'll consider that when it comes time to vote on that, if that's what you elect to do, and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good to see you too, Mr. McCord. For those of you who don't know, he used to work with us, so. Anyone else wishing to speak this evening under public comment?
My name is Stevie Hawkins. I live at 1596 East Broadway. I've known Cam for about 20 years, and he's awesome, and he's funny. And I really would try to appreciate if we could try to see if the distance at a half a mile, and I want to represent him today. And I really do appreciate whatever y'all's wishes are. And thank you so much.
My name is Misty Staten, and I live at 718 Northview Avenue. I've also known Cam for about 20-something years now. He's a good guy. He helps anybody that, he can, no matter what the situation. I'm here to vote for him for the half a mile if there's possible. There's people out here that doesn't have rides, and, it would be a good distance for people to walk in case they want to have a drink. So, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Oh, I thought he was coming forward. That would have been epic. Hey, thank you all. I see no one else indicating they wish to speak, so I'll declare public recognition closed. Move now to mayor's comments. Just a few things upcoming that I want you to be aware of. I mentioned last week Dr. Bonderot's retirement is coming up at the Critter Clinic on the 27th from 3:30 till 5. Gallatin Outdoor Flower Market happens on the square on Thursday, 5 to 8. On Friday, I think, the 29th, there's a community resource fair, and this is for International Overdose Awareness Day. It's at Volunteer Behavioral Health, happening at 510 East Main Street from 1 until 3. Market Day at the Farmers Market is from 9 until 1 on Saturday. The Antiques and Classic Car Shows will happen at the Civic Center upper parking lot, 4 to 8 p.m. Of course, Monday is Labor Day. Most city offices will be closed on that day. Coffee and Connect with Amy Nixon. I mentioned this one because she's the director of the Historic Downtown Gallatin organization. That's happening at Cafe 393 on the 3rd at 7:45. On the 5th is Jenna Landstrom's birthday. Also on the 5th, Gallatin High School Homecoming Parade and Ball Game. Be advised, there will be traffic in the afternoon. That parade happens at 4. It goes all the way through downtown Gallatin. People that aren't aware or aren't used to it have a meltdown when that happens, but I think it's really, really important that we do that. Trying to find one more thing that I had. Here we go. Okay, on August 28th, we are going to have an overdose awareness day on the lawn. That's what the display is that's out there currently of the flags. They have a nice event that evening. I think it's going to be, it's usually at 5 or 6 o'clock. It's put on by the Sumner Prevention Coalition, and it's always a great event. So I hope that you will look for that and try to make plans to attend on Thursday night. Going back to my calendar here, Jennifer Lefever's birthday is on the 6th of September. The same day that we're having the doggy paddle pool party at the Tommy Garrett Aquatics Facility, the Food Truck Festival in your honor, Miss Lefever, at the Civic Center, and Child Safety Day at Triple Creek Park. That is from 8 until 2. There is on the 9th coming up free help clinic, meet with a lawyer at the Civic Center. That starts at 4:30. And then on the 11th, it is Patriot Day, the 9/11 ceremony, several commemorative ceremonies happening throughout the city honoring 9/11. And so the one happens here at City Hall at 9 a.m. That evening is the Papillon Center's Instilling Hope Gala. That's happening at the Gathering Place at 6. And that is a long list of events. It's a busy time of year. I hope you'll make an effort to attend some of these great things happening around our city. With that, we'll move on to the regular agenda, and item number 1 is Resolution RT 507-46. This is a resolution to authorize the City of Gallatin to apply for a Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthy Places grant. Ms. Nichols, our finance director, is recognized, and if this sounds familiar to you.
It is. We presented this same request last year. Blue Cross said it was a strong application, but last year with all the damage to East Tennessee, they awarded East Tennessee communities the grants from last year. So we're doing the exact same grant again this year, or request this year. It would be for a park that would be built on the property we own, the city owns at 551 East Main Street. That's just beside the street that goes up to the football field for Gallatin High, in behind the stomping ground and the gas station there on the corner. It would include playground and pavilion amenities, and we just asked a request for approval. It is 100% funded.
Motion to send it on to council.
Motion to send it forward to council by Councilman Carter, second by Councilman Alexander. Okay. Any questions, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Moves forward. Item 2 is Resolution R2 608-50, a resolution to authorize an actuarial study to determine the costs associated with authorizing members of the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System to establish retirement credit for expanded armed conflict military service credit pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated Section 824-605D. Ms. Nichols.
There has been a request from an employee for the city to consider TCRS enhancement benefits, and the process would be, if the city approved it, we have to have a study to occur, and that's what this resolution's for. TCRS would perform the study, they would bring the results back to us, and then the pension committee would then either support it or not. If they supported it, they would bring it to you. This did go before the pension committee earlier this year. We received the draft resolution from the state. The gist of this enhancement is currently for city employees who are still active military and get deployed, they can receive retirement credit, service credit while they're here. This enhancement would allow people who were not city employees at the time that participated in any of these conflicts that are listed on the resolution, it would allow them to buy back their service credit. There's a cost to the employee, there's a larger cost to the city to allow that. And part of this enhancement, one of the caveats to it is if the employee already qualifies for military retirement benefits, they would not qualify for this. They can't double dip in both retirement systems. As I said, if they're an employee now or if they were an employee when this occurred and we had been on TCRS when this occurred, they would already have that benefit. This is only for employees who were not employed by the city at the time when these occurred, that they can now buy that back.
It does require the city to put up half of the cost for every eligible person, so we have to figure out what that looks like in our workforce, and thus the actuarial study, whether or not they take advantage on their side of actually buying back the time, and we don't get that money back. Right?
Have to put up all of our money up front.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we
Not-
have to put
not
ours
half.
up first, but isn't it half of, or don't they pay half and we pay half, but we have to put up all ours first?
No, it's
There's
not
just
a
an
half
amount we
and
have to
half.
pay and they have
Yes.
to pay. Okay.
Yes, and the employee would be given, I think it's 3 years to pay their part. The city has to pay all of ours up front, and it will be based on the results of this study. It will be based on the number of employees that we have that have served in the military or are currently serving in the military. And so,
I mean, Mayor, do you think that's right? I mean, if they were not a previous employee of the city of Gallatin? I mean,
I'm really curious to see what the study shows, because I know Ms. Nichols said earlier when we talked about, I think there's only one city and 2 utilities in the whole state that's doing this, but or the committee felt like, because it was asked and that they were doing their examination of the ask, to at least go through the process to see what that might look like.
there's a $400 fee to do the study. Finance Department can absorb that in our budget. We're not asking for money for that, but when the results come in, we'll know better what this really looks like.
What is the definition, in your opinion, of armed conflict military service?
Defined.
It's
it's defined in the ordinance.
the conflicts that are being considered for
Back to the
this.
80s.
Go back into the 80s. It's the multinational force in Lebanon from August 82 to February of 84. It's the invasion of Grenada in 83, the invasion of Panama in 89 and 90, Persian Gulf War, 1990 to 1991, Operation Enduring Freedom, 2001 to 2014, Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2003 to 2010. It's those conflicts only.
I think it's great. We need to support militaries, even if that happened before, because a lot of people go into the military and change career after. And people who go to conflict put a lot at risk and a lot behind them to do that. So I'm going to make a motion to move to council and to do the study because, yeah, I don't see why we will not do it. And even if there is only one city who's doing it and we have the second one, great. Maybe that will let more people do it. Motion to move to council.
Second.
A second, any further discussion? All in favor of moving forward to council, Resolution R2608-50, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Does move forward unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3 is a resolution R2508-54, a resolution authorizing the City of Gallatin to join the state of Tennessee and other local governments in amending the Tennessee State Subdivision Opioid Abatement Agreement and approving the related settlement agreements. Ms. Hine-McCauley.
Well, it's exactly what the ordinance says that it is. And if you will recall, we have joined some other settlements in the past. This is a new settlement. We have to officially vote to join that in order to be eligible for the funds.
Motion to move to council.
Motion by Councilman Juvent, second by Councilman Carter. Any discussion, any questions? Okay, this is Resolution R2508-54. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Moves forward unanimously. Item number 4 is ZOCO update report and discussion regarding potential temporary moratorium on rezoning until new zoning ordinance is adopted. Mr. Rose, City Planner.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I just wanted to give an update on our ZOCO project and then talk about this proposed possible moratorium. An update on the ZOCO project. We have submitted our public review draft comments back to our consultants. They have already begun to work on the requested edits. We do expect to be able to have a final draft that is ready to move forward toward adoption through the Planning Commission and City Council in a couple of months. A part of the zoning code update has been to create a whole new set of zoning districts that will ultimately replace the current set of zoning districts in the city. This code adoption process will essentially rezone the entirety of the land within the city limits. That being said, the changes will be minimal, as we have recommended that the properties be converted over to a closely resembled district, allowing similar uses and densities so as not to decrease rights under the current zoning allowances to the best of our ability. We have evaluated each zoning district and have made recommendations to our consultants as to what zoning should be applied to each property as we make this transition. For example, properties zoned agricultural in the current code are recommended to transition over and be rezoned to the CD2A district, which permits the same size lots and density as the agricultural district, that of 2.5 acre lots. As we begin the process to adopt the new code, it's important to consider that new rezoning requests received between now and when we adopt the new code will be increasingly more difficult and in conflict with and may overlap the proposed new zoning map that's part of the code adoption. To understand this, it's important to know that the law provides that an application, once received and accepted by the city as a complete application, will be subject to the current zoning regulations in place at the time the application was accepted. So applications received prior to the adoption of the new code would still be subject to review and approval under the old code. This becomes problematic because these applications are asking for rezoning to one of the old districts, which will potentially, depending on the application and the timing of the approval, potentially not even be in effect anymore if the new code gets adopted prior to the approval of that application for rezoning. Those old zoning districts will be discontinued and the new zoning districts would be already in effect. It is for this purpose that the Planning Department is recommending a brief moratorium on the rezoning of properties, and I'll explain what I'm thinking and I'll take your input. The adoption of the moratorium would follow the same process as the process to rezone land, i.e. recommendation from Planning Commission and adoption by City Council. Our legal department has researched and found that there is case law that indicates that this type of moratorium, when considering adoption of a new zoning code, is an acceptable reason to justify the moratorium. We want the period of time to be specific, as that is more legally acceptable than an open-ended time frame. We feel that we can justifiably put this time frame at 9 months or until the adoption of the new code, whichever comes first. That's hopefully enough time to get through about 3 months' time of Planning Commission review and another 3 months' time at City Council. And these are inflated slightly already from the typical time it takes, but it being a big document, it could take slightly more. We are prepared to and may request some special meetings, perhaps even joint meetings with the Planning Commission, so that this adoption of the code is not drawn out too long. And again, we would also put language in the moratorium ordinance that would terminate the moratorium upon adoption of the new code, making rezoning requests again acceptable. This moratorium would not apply to development requests not needing a rezoning, nor would it apply to amendments to an area already subject to a master plan. This moratorium would also not apply to any submitted and accepted rezoning requests received prior to its adoption that are already in the process of review and decision. just to give you an idea, we don't get a whole lot of rezoning requests. There are currently 3 requests in active progress. 2 of these are scheduled for second reading on September 2nd, so they should be finished before this goes through. And the third one is one that received Planning Commission recommendation just last night and will begin to appear on City Council agendas soon and is scheduled to be through in the process early in November. There are a couple more requests that have been indefinitely deferred at the Planning Commission stage. Those we would have to still review and decide upon those applications based on the old zoning code, since they have already been submitted, if they are brought back to the table. We would need a provision in the new code about transitioning those in-progress applications that may happen after the new code is adopted to one of the new zoning districts. We realize that there are also a couple of annexation requests that are potentially in progress and/or recently finished. These may be affected by the moratorium for a brief period of time, but we don't anticipate that it would cause any great delay. Again, these are thoughts that the planning department has had for months now in regards to this zoning change that we are considering, and have paid a lot of money to our consultants to draft this new ordinance. We would like it to be as clean of a process as possible as we move forward through that process, and feel that the conflicts of the old zoning code and trying to rezone property to the new zoning code, as we move forward and adopt the new code, would be just kind of messy, and we're trying to avoid those types of decisions that have to be made after the fact. I'll turn it over to you for questions and comments, if you have any.
Ms. Macaulay, did you want to lend anything on what the process has to be, or anything that he may not have covered?
The process just has to be the same thing as a rezone. So basically, you have to go through Planning Commission, you have to go through council, have to have public hearing, all the things that you would have to do for a typical rezone. Do you see anything further, or?
Discussion, you
When-
guys.
When you say the process, are we talking about the adoption of the ZOCO, or are we talking about the adoption of that resolution?
The adoption, it's not a resolution, to be an ordinance.
An ordinance.
Yes, so to be the same, I'm not talking about the adoption of ZOCO, I'm talking about the adoption of if you decide to do a moratorium. It needs to follow the same process as a rezone, because you're basically amending your current zoning ordinance to say there can be no rezones to come through. And we talked with MTAS, and that was their recommendation. You have to follow that process, and that would protect the city against any potential attacks on it. Something you should take seriously, just like you would a rezone, so it needs to follow the same process.
You did say 9 months or the adoption, whichever
Or-
comes first.
Right,
Yep.
whichever comes first.
His-
So
yeah.
if the new code is adopted prior to that end of that period of 9 months, the moratorium would cease to be a moratorium, and we would accept applications from that point on.
Now, his recommendation is 9 months. That's a long time, especially when we've got some industrial projects they're trying to work, and I feel like that could delay that. It could not, I mean, especially if the code is adopted quickly, but it just does worry me that we could lose some potential interest while we're waiting on that to go through the process.
What would your staff be doing during this time? Looks like that would limit their workload.
They still have plenty.
There's plenty to do.
They still have plenty.
They will go on vacation.
It's just the rezoning. It's not No, they've got plenty to do.
If you saw the list of the number of applications that we are considering each and every cycle, they are mostly other types of applications.
Typically,
In other words, you got plenty to do.
Master plans, plating, site plans, a whole bunch of different things.
Everything
Zoning
else.
is a very small portion of that, so.
Mr. Rose, you know, I talked to you back in June as we were reading through the new code, and so many pieces of it I absolutely love. And that was one of my questions to you back then was, how do we mesh this? And I think this is the right way to do it, so I'll support it.
And again, you know, my intent is not to halt developers' ability to come in and do their projects. My intent is to help transition our code from the old version to the new version without a bunch of overlap that occurs with projects or rezone requests that get submitted just before the end of, you know, when we're about to adopt this new code. We then have to carry forward those applications as if they were under that old code. And we may be rezoning, taking action on a rezoning request, whereas those zoning districts wouldn't even exist anymore because we've already adopted the new code, right? So it's trying to keep it clean in that manner so that we're not dealing with that.
And if they don't need rezoning, they're free to turn it in and keep going.
Yes, we would have to do that.
Yeah.
Correct.
How long does that take from an application to arrive? Let's see, I want to rezone something. I'm going to come knock on your door tomorrow and say, I want to rezone that piece of land. How long that takes to get that
Process.
application approved for the process?
Minimum about 4.5 months. So by the time we get it and then get it onto the planning commission's agenda, that process about a month and a half to maybe 2 months, but generally about a month and a half. And then to get it into the council's arena, it's another 2.5 to.
I'm talking about the initial process until it's finished and approved by your department, because you said if you have an application approved, until we pass that, if we do the moratorium, that will be under the old code. So if I follow the process, you tell we have to go for getting that approved. If we approve it, that's to go to planning, so that's going to be 1 month. That's to go to work session. Maybe
it'd
not.
probably be 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, so
The purpose of this is it's a stopgap measure only. It's a stopgap measure so that we don't frustrate the new zoning ordinance. And the law has changed, and now whenever someone files an application, so this is to prevent people from filing applications. Now when they file an application, they get vested rights, where it used to be once it was approved. Now it's upon filing of an application. And so that's one reason that I think Brian is looking at this, to make sure that we don't frustrate. We've spent a lot of time and money on this new ZOCO, and if, you know, it's supposed to be really great, and what I've heard and seen, it is really great. And so we would want, you know, for people to be submitting under the new zoning ordinance. Now, there will be people that have properties that will be able to file applications before we can get this approved, and we have to let them do that.
that's kind of my concern, the time that's going to take us to go through that.
That's the legal
where
process that we have to follow.
People are going to suddenly realize it and try to throw everything they can before the new code is in.
For this process to adopt a moratorium, you're looking at least a couple of months. The month of September, if you give the direction tonight for us to move forward and take that through the process, we would look at the month of September going through the Planning Commission, and then the month of October and probably into November to get through the the council's process.
And I think the hope is, at least by planning and by my office, is it's not going to take us 9 months to adopt the zoning code, because it's a good plan. And so the hope is it's not going to take 9 months. And I would hope that council would support that and try to make sure that we continue to move that along.
And one of the reasons for asking for a little bit longer on the 9 months instead of maybe like 6 months or something like that is to help ensure that we can get through that process of adopting the new code without there being this window of time where the moratorium would expire and we still haven't adopted it, and there's this chance for people to get in and throw in an application under the old code that then, frustrates us to have to deal with it under that old code requirement. That makes sense.
Thank you, sir. Makes sense. Makes sense to me, so I'll be in favor.
Need a motion to move it on?
To send it to planning.
What I'm looking for is just a kind of a vote to say, yes, we're good with you processing this through Planning Commission, and then it coming back to you.
I make that motion.
Motion by Vice Mayor Hayes, second by Councilman Javance.
Yeah, whatever.
Questions? All in favor? Huh?
I thought you was looking for a second.
No, he seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item number 5 is, what? Oh. Item 5 is Resolution R2508-52, resolution reappointing Beth Bennett to the Gallatin Electric Power Board. She's been on the board. She's an actuary. She's amazing.
Motion to send on. Second. Motion approved.
You can speak for, I'm guessing, Councilman Jones. Motion by Councilman Fennell, second by Councilman Jones or Carter? Carter, okay. Carter, any questions, any discussion? All in favor of moving forward Resolution R2508-52 forward, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Does move forward unanimously. Item number 6 is discussion about the change in liquor store distances. I know you had a lot of speakers tonight speaking specifically to one person wishing for a liquor store. I know that several of the council members have been approached about changing the distance. I've been approached multiple times about changing the distance. I don't know if you all have a copy of a petition, but there is a petition to change the distance. But in having the conversation too, it's also been brought to my attention by Ms. Kittrell that there continues to be challenges with determining based on distance who has rights to what license. It's just not, you may wish, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you may wish to speak to any of the challenges that you've seen. Remember, we were originally limited by population. That population number was increased a few years ago. The ask was to allow for more liquor stores. We decided to go with a distance. I was uncomfortable with that at the time because I felt like it changed the rules so drastically on the people who had invested based on a limit based on population. It was done, but now we're asking again. It almost seems to me that we are going very much in the direction of what you said years ago, just let it be wide open, So, I'm sorry, Ms. Kittrell.
You're right, Mayor. That was a good history lesson on how the liquor stores have well, I can't think of my words, but how all of that has morphed, I guess. In '22 is when we changed everything and we did the new alcohol ordinance. And that was where we went from 7 licensed liquor stores and we changed it to a distance of 1 mile. And that was a driving distance. Well, the driving distance was always in question. Google Maps gave one thing, and our GIS program here gave 2 different distances. And so that was very hard. So the next year, we changed it to a 1 mile radius. So that is a whole lot easier, even though the people that want the license, they still do the Google Maps, and it's not what I come up with. But those are the things that I deal with, that our office deals with. It's a 1 mile, and now Mr. Patel has asked for the half mile. It's up to your decision, whatever you wanted to do, but I did want Paige and I had kind of talked about just bringing it all back up and talking about it a little bit, and giving you the options.
Is the, like, do you have to know, I mean, do you have to do it from existing licenses or existing physical establishments at this point? It's the licenses?
We had 7 when we first started, and now we have increased it to 10. So we have 3 new ones. Well, we really only have 2 new ones because one of them hasn't been built yet.
Of course, the state of Tennessee, Ms. Macaulay made the point that I guess it dates from Prohibition times. That's why they even allowed the limitations based on population or other factors. And so we are allowed to still limit them, but I don't know. So anyway, I brought it to you guys to make a determination what you'd like to do. Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Kittrell, I don't remember, maybe you do. What was the population limit on the old?
I think it was like 20-something. It was originally like 7,000 or 8,000, and it went up to like 20-something thousand. And so, of course, that made a liquor store like prime property, right? So you had a few people that had liquor stores in Gallatin, and then we changed it. And they were, these are people that had spent a ton of money because they were so limited and secure in that. And so then we changed it to where it was a mile. And, some cities have just said, go with the whole free market thing like we do everything else. And so anyway, it's y'all's determination. And, whether you want to look at the half mile, whether you want to look at just taking away any restrictions, whether you, I brought it to you guys to weigh in.
Honestly, I'm not pro-liquor license. I think 10 is enough in my mind, but if we go to half a mile, what's the point? At that point, why half a mile and not 200 feet? The only staff will be careful, but I think it's on the liquor ordinance that we don't put that, to put the limit from the schools.
Doesn't exist anymore either, I don't think.
I think we have something we say need not to impede church or stuff like that in there, but put a limit from the schools. Or I think we have something in the new ZOCO, or just wait for the new ZOCO and on the new zoning code, wait for that and revisit after.
Done for liquor stores. Liquor stores are still general commercial, or whatever they typically are. They don't get some special classification. Retail, I guess.
But
And
we have
realize,
classification on where they can be, what kind of zoning they can be on. We have
a
that.
liquor store?
We have that on the code right now.
they have to exist in a zone that allows for retail sales, but there's not.
And that won't change. We'll still have to have correct zoning.
Mike?
A half mile, a mile, as we currently have it, she said we have 10 now. I'm sure we still have space for more, but, and I think particularly this evening, you had a lot of conversation because of the existing liquor stores in Gallatin. There's not really an opportunity for largely the 5th District to have, because of just how they happen to space. And so I was originally asked about an 8th mile, I was originally asked about half a mile, then talking to Ms. Kittrell, I'm like, maybe it's time to talk about removing any restrictions, so.
Like I said, if we go to half a mile, what's the point of putting half a mile? Just open free fall for everybody, even if I don't like it, but.
Jerez, did you have something to input?
I was just going to mention that as far as the new code that we've been working on, we took out references to any sort of requirement on this regard because we know that it's already in the city code, and so we left that to be the governing document for that.
But it's still, I mean, but it's still allowed in any, whatever the grocery and whatever it's allowed.
Right, I mean, it would be considered a retail use, and then as far as the liquor component of it, it would go through the city code requirements.
So, Ms. Kittrell, if we did lower this, would there be an opportunity now for a liquor store in the 5th District?
I think so.
Okay. And I will say, because I'm the representative for District 5, I would be a proponent for this because I know that there are no more existing liquor stores in the district. So I don't think it would hurt to have one.
And I think Ms. Kittrell's concern may be that if you go to the half mile, then that's just going to create the confusion that you're already trying to manage with just the mile.
I'm okay with the half a mile. I mean, it'll work. It hasn't been that horrible. So I can still do the half mile if that's what you want to do.
But even, I guess my point is too, even with the mile, is there not an opportunity in the 5th District to have a liquor store anywhere? I mean, it seemed like there would be.
Sure there is.
I mean, I'm sure there is. It just might not be his location or where you want it to be, but I'm sure there's other opportunities out there.
I think trying to find a commercial zone.
What about, let me ask this,
This, and
can I talk, please? The new Nexus
Vice Mayor
development.
Hayes.
You do that to me all the time. The new Nexus development, is that not in the 5th District?
That is in the 5th District.
That's gonna have some retail and stuff like that, correct?
Who's to say it's going to be a liquor store?
But I don't know that, but see then that one's going to get close
It's
to.
an opportunity to have one, is what I mean, because you're
But-
gonna have retail and everything there.
But that one's going to be close to the one on Long Hollow, right?
But it's gonna be over a mile, probably.
I don't know.
That's going to be more a mile away than the one on Longo Road for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Broadway.
I feel like we're gonna make it difficult if we do change it to a half mile. That's why I think we need to leave it at a mile. I mean, I think it's gonna cause more work. I could be wrong, but
well, I have to say that I had an investor call me up, and I know that this investor was going to spend 12 to $13 million on a liquor store and a strip mall associated with it with out parcels. But I can tell you if it's changed down to a half a mile, he'll back out. But with that being said, I'm going to abstain from the vote.
All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to change it to a 1 mile.
1 mile?
I'm sorry,
Yes, 1 mile.
not 1 mile, half a mile, sorry.
Paige, can I say something for whatever the outcome of this is? I just want to tell Mr. Patel that I appreciate what he does for the community, because a lot of people showed up for him and wrote his name down, and I mean, he deals with people that's down on their luck, and you know what I'm saying? He helps out a lot of people, so.
A whole lot of people that signed a petition.
I just want to tell him I appreciate what you do for the, not being born here, but you stepped up for the
Like to
community. too.
validate them.
Yeah, great job. You did a lot of due diligence. I see a lot of names I know, so good job.
Second.
I second Stevens.
A motion and a second to change the distance between liquor stores to a half a mile. And with that, I'm going to ask you all, further questions, conversation about it. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Okay, noes were you, sir? Okay, Councilman Juvance and Vice Mayor Hayes, you were yes, you were yes. You abstained. Okay, so I've got 2 abstentions, 2 noes, and 3 yeses. So it will move forward to council, and we will get a resolution there. So,
Okay, Mayor, can you go through that again?
Councilman Fennell and Councilman Fan has abstained. Those in favor, Councilman Jones, Councilman Carter, Councilman Alexander. Those against, Councilman Juvance and Vice Mayor Hayes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All righty. One of us will get a resolution for next week.
I'm gonna amend that motion because, like I say, I'm not for that, but if we go to Alpha Mile, I don't see why. So I'm gonna make a motion to remove any distance.
I have a motion by Councilman Juvance to remove any distance restriction.
I'll second.
I have a second on removing any distance restriction. Opening the floor for conversation on that. Since that followed, if it would pass, then it would,
Can I ask, help me understand your friend, or the investor that you talked to, why would the half mile be a deal breaker for his?
If you put $12, $13 million in it, I mean, you could have two in the same area, right there stacked upon each other. I mean, I don't.
But if we go that way, I mean, if any business investing money, we have to stop any same type of business going nearby. Someone can invest $15 million on a car garage or stuff, and at that point, we need to block everybody with the same principle. So
I can't understand what he said.
I don't understand. We've got convenience stores on every corners.
well,
I
and
know they're not selling liquor, but they're selling gas, they're selling snacks, they're selling beer.
Well, back in the day, what Paige was discussing was that liquor was pretty much territorial, for here for years. I guess I'm saying that right.
it was very expensive to have a license because they had the population restrictions. I felt like when we did away with that, then it damaged the, 5 that were here. There weren't many that were here, but it was done, and so now certainly there's a lot more opportunity, but that's why I said that about, I kind of feel like we're going the direction of removing all restrictions.
I don't think you'll have, like really nice high-end type liquor stores here. If it opens up everywhere, you'll just have somebody could stick it on a shelf and go into the business themselves.
And that's
As far as
exactly-
competition, I've been in business 41 years. I have voted for people to compete against me. I don't have a problem with that at all. I was just pointing out what one person told me.
I just needed to understand, thanks.
Well, and that was the argument when we did away with the population, was, these people had put a lot of money into it, and it was a big competition then to buy those licenses, like when one closed or when to move or something. But that changed. But anyway, okay, we have a motion to remove distance restrictions. It was seconded by Councilman Alexander. Any more if that were to pass, would it overrule what just passed?
Of course it will.
But I can't both be true. Well, let's go ahead and, now let's vote.
Well, he says he's willing to withdraw his prior. Do you want to withdraw or do you want to keep it at half mile?
I can withdraw this time, and I have a,
How about if you make the motion to change it from a half mile to remove all distance restrictions? So that addresses the previous vote.
gotcha.
Does that work?
That works.
Okay. Motion
I
second.
second that.
Okay. No, you made the motion, you're seconding it. Is that okay? Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor of removing distant restrictions and doing away with the half mile, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Abstain.
Okay, I have, Ms. Kittrell, call the roll for me, please. I'll probably call somebody's name wrong at this point.
Vice Mayor Hayes. Councilman Alexander.
Yes.
Councilman Carter.
Yes.
Councilman Fan.
Abstain.
Councilman Fennell.
Abstain.
Councilman Jones. Councilman Juvance.
Yes.
Okay, so 4 ayes, 1 no, and 2 abstentions. So we will move forward with preparing a resolution? Ordinance for that.
Have to be an ordinance.
Okay,
Because we're amending our ordinance.
I'd like to explain my abstention too, if you don't mind.
Well, it's after the fact, but sure, go ahead.
I was the only one that voted against the mile, I think, the last time this came up. And the reason I voted against it, people say it's expensive to get a liquor store. I promise you, a convenience store is 5 times more expensive, and they have had no protection.
Okay, that didn't really explain your abstention.
I'm explaining why I abstained, because that reason, I think that's a poor reason not.
Well, then you should have voted, we're not going to say anything, okay. So do we need to go back and vote on the original, or does that overrule that one?
Well, Councilman Carter said that he had withdrawn his motion, right? And remember, this is just sending it to council. And
Exactly, we can
so
do something different
Any
there.
amendments can be made next week.
Okay, we'll just move it forward to council with the ordinance to do away with the restrictions. That's the end of the agenda, y'all. Okay. Huh? Okay, Councilman Carter has other business. We'll start with him.
Thank you, Mayor. We have been invited to the Heroes Appreciation Lunch sponsored by the Gallatin Center for Rehabilitation on North Water. They're honoring local firefighters, police department, and EMS heroes. So that event is going to take place on Thursday, September the 11th at 11:30 to 1 p.m.
Say 11:30 to 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Also got into the waters on North Water, the,
No, Gallatin Healthcare.
is it
Or it used to be
I think it's called
Let's see, hold on. Gallatin Center for Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation and
Yes.
Healing or something.
And Healing.
Yeah, it's right there across from the Catholic Church.
Everybody attending will be put in a drawing for a free Yeti cooler.
And then there is also an event that Alexander Funeral Home does each year. It's their Field of Flags honoring 9/11, and that happens at 11 a.m. And that's always a really nice ceremony that follows ours that happens at 9 a.m. So I actually got the or I may have gotten it earlier. I saw the text during the meeting. Other business, I do want to report that we did, Mr. Brown and me and who else? Jake and Nick, and then Jake and Shane all met to talk about a plan to get the soccer moving forward today. We do have a plan. Nick had to leave for another meeting. Jake approved everything. We're good to go. Jillian actually came in from planning, and she weighed in. We actually thought we were going to have to rezone some property, but we are going to have to annex some, but we can wait on it. But, you know, that was part of some of the concerns that we were having about the process.
Is that based on the plan they submitted?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great plan.
Yeah, there has to be some adjustments because of the CORS project and some of the access that engineering's concerned about. But really, really appreciate Jake on their side for helping, huh?
It's my classmate.
He was your classmate? Wow, he's gone far. He's doing a lot of the work pro bono, if you will, and I don't know how far he's willing to take it, but he's really committed to it, and he's done a good plan. But Jake was going to send him our plan so he could then work better on grading and the topo and all that kind of stuff. So.
What kind of time frame we're talking about?
We don't, we know that it's got to go through planning, and David's going to start that immediately. We're going to start the annexation immediately. And then when that happens, by the time all that happens, then they should be finished with the berm, which would allow us in there. And we want to proceed with doing all the site grading, even though we're not going to develop the whole site at once. We want to grade the whole site at once. And then we have some questions for engineering to see if we can have one lot paved and overflow parking gravelled until we do the second phase, third phase, where we would build the final. And there's some strategy to not developing the other fields because of some things that they think are coming in the future. And they think there's strategy to not go ahead and develop those final fields yet. I think it's exciting. We don't know how much it costs.
Not cheap. But we'll make it back.
What?
We'll make it back on tournament and
Other business, anybody else here?
I just want to point out you and Councilman Juvance made each other laugh a little while ago.
Huh?
what?
Just wanted to point out you and Councilman Juvance made each other laugh a little while ago.
Wasn't intentional. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You mean that on a friendly, funny way?
Vice Mayor Hayes did not make me laugh. Department heads.
interrupting me all the time.
Yes, sir.
I would like an update on where we are, that's probably for Susan, on updating the ordinance with Resource Authority, because they still charge us more than what's on the ordinance was actually in effect right now.
I have not done anything else on that until the full council gives me direction to do that. You changed attorneys yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have an ordinance we're supposed to follow if it's in effect and there is nothing changed. You agree with me on that?
I'll have to look back at the ordinance, to be honest with you. But yes, we should follow our ordinances.
So, again, like I remember what you told me one day, say if you don't like it, change it. So
Right.
Until it's changed, we should oblige by it.
Has the amount been determined for the city?
Are you talking about
The amount that we're supposed to be paying our share?
I think it changes every meeting.
It's hard to update our ordinance when we don't have an amount to update it to.
Mr. DePriest?
Yeah, we went from $52 to $60 a ton effective July 1st. I think the ordinance that he's referring to may say $42 a ton, but it's
45.
45. But it still goes back to we're 2/7 of.
So
the
is the 60, that's a hard and fast, that's been approved?
As of right now. And that's just for MSW. I mean, there's
Mattress fee now.
mattress fees, and probably need to sit down and look at the ordinance with you and see what all's actually called out in there.
I'll be happy to work with you to get that done.
Yep.
Again, if we want to be involved to increase the rate, the ordinance should be written like that there should be a clause in there we say the Resource Authority Board has the authority to increase the rate, but that's not how it's written. It's written $45 max, and that's what's in action. So we need to change that because as for now, we're not following the law.
I will work with Mr. DePriest and confirm amounts.
Thank you, ma'am.
Department heads. Who wants to report something? No one does. They're excited. It's only 7:03. Motion by Councilman Jones. Second by Councilman Carter. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Everybody have a lovely evening. Take care. Good night.